Hi, everybody. My name is Erin, and I am broadcasting from Arlington, Vermont. We are a small little community in the southwestern part of Vermont, and 3 or 4 thousand population. Mostly for jobs, we do a lot of educational work. And we have Mac Molding, which does plastics, which is great. Please excuse me while I eat my candy. It's my mid-afternoon snack. Um, we have several large young families, about our age, my age, excuse me, and we really need to find some sort of lucrative way to bring them and keep them here and entice them to invest their time and their money and their business making potential into the community. So today I'm going to be telling you a little bit about MyOpus. MyOpus is a 4-phase project, initially broken into 5-year installments. The 4 projects are Fight for Fashion, Fight for Food, Fight for Family, and Fight for Freedom. Fight for Fashion brings awareness to the garment industry and rebuilding the Manchester community to make clothing, to layer ourselves, to make it important for us to understand that we can't rely on China or Bangladesh to make our clothing anymore, that we should be able to do it ourselves. We have a lot of fine designers right in the center, right around the area that really just haven't had the opportunity to be noticed because we make everything so expensive for them right now, and there's just not the publicity and the resources to really make a profit anymore. Fight for Food is bringing education to the idea of gardening and self-sustaining and really making it factual that you can grow a garden and you can support your community by growing extra produce and helping your neighbor out, that we really do believe that way. This is sort of part of the core of MyOpus, and MyOpus being that it's meant to be work. We are here to do a purpose, and that purpose requires work. And whether your purpose is to make clothing or whether it's to grow basil, I don't know. My purpose is different than yours, but we do have to help each other, and we do have to expect that we can only count on ourselves as well. That ultimately, if something were to happen to your community, which is the worst and most devastating thing that can happen, Hurricane Irene ripped through the state of Vermont and traumatized most of us and made us realize that the community here is so valuable and so little, and we need to appreciate what we have and make the best of what we have. So, Fight for Food. We're going to be growing plants. We're going to be growing produce, and we're going to be sending people to your homes to check on you and make sure that you are also growing produce. And if you need help, we are going to help you with that. We have a highly skilled and highly trained professional group of farmers and agricultural specialists who are ready with picket and tool and ready to go. So, Fight for Family brings about sort of the first 2 fights, Fight for Fashion and Fight for Food, and brings about the idea of educating ourselves so that we don't need to necessarily rely on the MyOpus sponsored designers at this point, but so that we can start to structure our education system and structure the idea that we can teach a child from a young age the important part of growing a vegetable and eating a vegetable and enjoying it later in the year, feeding an animal, raising an animal, and then turning that animal into produce into dinner is challenging, but it feels good and it tastes good, and you know where that food came from, and you detach from it a little bit because you realize you're helping yourself and you're helping your friends as well. So we talk about educating CDC courses. Mrs. Pickering at the Pickering's Farm has been very influential and involved in getting a CDC program started there. Jeremy Brown and I, as well, years ago, discussed the idea of opening up an educational cooperative right at the center of Sandgate Road, and initially having enough corn and byproduct that we could pump gas at the gas station down on 313. So it in the 10-year plan, in the 15-year plan, 10-year plan for MyOpus, we will be running our vehicles off of corn oil, off of grown substances other than gasoline. I pay almost $4 a gallon for gasoline right now. I drive a little Volkswagen Beetle, and it is $50 to fill up my tank. And when you are trying to start a business, and when you are trying to raise a family or pay your bills or make it to work on time, $50 really is a lot of money sometimes for people, so we have to keep that in mind. And then we get to fight for freedom. So Fight for Freedom is sort of the encompassing fight for all of them, and what are the legalities of owning a business, and where can you run into trouble, where can you run into hesitation, where can you run into taxes and zoning codes, and what is ethically right and what is morally right, and that's where we bring in our board of consultants. So our consultants are comprised of 12 local members. We call them the Local 12. Our TV broadcast system will be broadcasted at noon and midnight once a week to begin, because we will be traveling and sort of getting our criteria and our video, essentially what I'm doing right now, gathered the information to present to the public in a findings and a resourceful sort of manner, maybe something scientific. So things like this, they can range from gun control, which they will. We will definitely be talking about gun control and range control and rifle ownership. That is something that is happening in the world right now and is substantially important. You should be able to own a gun. No questions asked. We need to be able to educate ourselves on using a gun and why you use a gun. It's time to open our eyes to the reality of the situation. We see what happens when we ban things from public use. It then becomes illegal and turns into a crime in which millions and billions of dollars are spent on the criminal system every year, which is why we give our big, enormous hats off to Colorado and Washington, to the people of Colorado and Washington. I am so proud of you guys for stepping up and putting your children and putting your futures in front of a long outdated stance on legalizing marijuana. I wish you the best of luck. I cannot wait to interact with you and work with you and hopefully build the Vermont legislation to the same sort of launch in the next 12 to 24 months. This will be amazing. This will be exciting. Massachusetts, decriminalized, lots of movement happening here. This is really exciting, a lot of opportunities. So that is MyOpus in a nutshell. I've got 2 minutes left, so I will tell you a little bit about where we're located. Our first location is going to be in Adams, Mass. We've got a great little studio space there for an assistant, an office, and a bathroom is about what it's going to take up. The show, the Local 12, will be produced at a property that is called Stoop, I believe. I'm gonna have to be corrected on that, and I'm wrong. But for time, it's a great little video conference room, and it's gonna be really fun. Arlington school system definitely gonna be excited about this. They're rebuilding their digital media department and really enhancing that, and their print as well, because MyOpus will be on print, printed from Barry with the Haas printing. And today we will leave you with a thank you for listening. This is my first video of 10 minutes that I've ever recorded myself, and I can't wait to talk to you again about more exciting MyOpus adventures. Thanks.